Once you've selected your animation in Mixamo and you like what you got, it's time to download the character, download the animation, and you'll see down here is the looping. You can also check the bones. So you can see how it's being rigged. Very simple rig for the hands there. And you can also zoom and reset the camera. And you'll see down here if the animation is looping, you'll see when it gets to the end frame and then begins again at the start of the frame that there's no pop. That means it is a looping animation. So here's the hip hop dancing. You see as it gets to the end here, back and forth and back. And then when it hits that end, it did not have any kind of hitch or dip. That means the bell curves or the animation curves from the end of the animation go into the beginning animations very nicely. There we go. So turn that off for a minute. All right, and of course there's arm space and overdrive space, and you can play around with these. It's such a simple app that it's almost foolproof how this works. So let's just try a regular animation download. So we're gonna hit the download button, go to the FBX and leave it at 30 frames per second, leave it at none, leave it with the skin, and go ahead and hit that download button for that. And it should give you a source where you want to go. And the name of the animation should be pretty straightforward. Push, jump up, push, jump, push up, excuse me. Go ahead and save that. And before I forget, it's good to go to the help button when you first upload the character as a help section. So uploading and rig the custom character, you see here, 3 file types are supported, FBX, OBJ. It reminds you here to be sure the embed media is turned on in the FBX settings. That's the one we looked at before. So you turn off the animations and camera and lights, but you turn on embed media if you want the texture in there. If they don't include textures, then they'll be gray. That's no problem. It goes through placing of the markers here. And then the second part, upload a mapped and map a rigged character. So for this, you can actually upload a character that has your own rigging already on it and map the animations to it. And so there is a pathway to allow animations to get retargeted to your custom skeleton. So just making sure that you're aware of that. Okay, back over here in Maya, I've created a new scene. So we just go File, Import. So everyone should be comfortable with importing and exporting from any of these 3D applications and seeing what the settings are and just looking it up if you're working in a different pipeline. So for this one's going to be an import, so we can go to the settings box here. And I'm just going to skip the boxes for now and just go straight to the jump push up FBX, and there it is. Now if the animation time slider is missing down there, we'll just go up to the very top right to the workspace, go back to general, and you'll see the general workspace will pull up the timeline down here and hit the play button, and you see it's playing really fast, so we'll pause that, and we're just going to fix the frame rate and look at the time slider for a moment. And to get that playback speed back where we want it, the default here is going to be play every frame. So it's just a little bouncy, it's playing too fast. So you just go to Windows, Settings, Preferences once again, pull up the preferences, go down to the time slider right here. And you'll do this almost every time you're going back and forth between apps. You always want to set your default at 30 frames per second. Well, I mean, if that's your pipeline, which it is for Mixamo. So that should work out pretty well. So there you go. And same thing, we can go wireframe on shaded. And you'll notice over here in the outliner, if I open this up, it's going to go one parent joint at a time down the next one. If I hold down Shift and click, it's going to do the whole thing for us. So that way you can see you have the bipeds right there. You won't be able to click on it in the window, only on the joints. Whoops, yeah, I guess you can. There you go. And then this is where you can record your video. So I use the Xbox overlay. So I just go Windows G. Whoops. So I position it where I'm kind of maximizing the screen for the animation that's playing, kind of frame it well. There we go. I can close this. And I would just record this about 5 to 10 seconds worth, leave it on a loop Right about there should be fine. And voila, you're done. You've done your pipeline and understand the full front to back. The next phase would be to add a detailed model to your character to kind of design it out and come up with something more interesting than our little simple biped. And then we'll UV and texture map the character.